Hey everybody, so we were going to do this wrap-up for my new project, Kellison. So we're going to do this whole comedians in cars getting coffee thing, and here is what happened.
They were doing this whole Romanian bit, which was great.
And so we have decided to do it with the car parked.
It is here. So, we are back from Miller Motorsports Park, which is a gorgeous facility. They spent $300 million making this thing. You know, the pavement is gorgeous, the buildings are nice, there are museums on the ground. Really, the only downside we could see, they polish every concrete surface to a mirror-like sheen, and people are busting their ass all over the place. So that was not so great.
We brought back an old penalty for this race, the Highway 17 penalty. Both Jay and myself went to UC Santa Cruz. You got to go over the mountains over Highway 17. You're always stuck behind some slow-moving...
slow-ass hippie mother.
Yeah. We had an old penalty. We actually had a hippie bus that we put on the track, and cars would have to follow it. And we can't do that anymore because it's extremely butt dangerous. But what we did do, we had a real slow car at this track. And the fastest car on the track, the Model T GT, got a penalty and had to follow that thing for 10 laps.
They were quite honked off because they were P1 by about 8 laps at that point. Now, speaking of the Model T GT, Fish Newman, he's the captain of that team. You know, he's a great guy and all that, yeah, but he's super annoying when he comes in to whine about his car. So this time, Phil said, you cannot come into the penalty box unless you're wearing a jester's cap and capering. Otherwise, we're going to kick you out. So if you got anything to whine about, that's what you got to do.
Now, this race is in Utah, home of the Mormons. And we had all kinds of Mormon stuff. We had a Mormon missionary theme.
You got to go out, you got to find 2 American pickup truck owners. You got to get them to come back here with their pickup trucks, and they got to get down on their knees and say they're converted, and they're going to buy Toyotas and Nissans only from now on. Do you embrace the way of Japanese?
American job.
You only buy Japanese from now on.
Only buy Japanese pieces of shit.
We had a car, I think it was a Honda, dressed up as the Mormon Meteor land speed car.
It was very cool.
Hella sweet.
Yeah, it was very cool. And also because it was Utah, we had a special trophy for the miracle of the Gulls. Now, if you don't know your Mormon history, which I don't really, apparently the pioneers, they're out there, they're planting their corn and their sorghum or whatever it was, you know. Locusts come in. Oh no, we're all going to die. We're going to starve. Flock of seagulls comes and eats all the locusts. They are safe. It was a miracle. Who would have guessed that that would happen? So this team, they had a Jensen Healy powered by the infamous Lotus 907 motor, which did what? Blew the hell up like 2 hours into the race.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no big surprise there at all, right? So, well, what are we going to do? There is no Lotus 907 engine in Utah. Turns out there is one in the entire state. There is one Lotus 907 motor. It was under a workbench at Miller Motorsports Park. Found the guy, got on the telephone, gave him $500, finished the race. Totally sweet.
I got screwed, went to the Flaming A-Holes in the Rover 3500. Now, they missed, by one race, being the first Rover in LeMons?
Yeah.
First Rover 3500 in LeMons. It's got a V8, much more modern. It's going to do great. It did not. But it's the kind of car we like. We're probably going to give it an award, but this race just had so many awesome cars at it that, you know, they couldn't win Org Choice, they couldn't win ILE, and they just kind of were the odd man out, and we felt bad for them, and we just gave them the I Got Screwed instead.
The heroic fix. Now these guys, they started off in Sebring with their RV, their hoopty-ass 20-year-old RV. They drove all the way out to Utah en route to driving all the way to California in their RV. That was great. Let's see, they blew up their engine, they blew up the airbag suspension, they blew up the transmission, they blew up 3 ignition modules, and at one point, this was the best, they were on the home stretch, and they're coming to the top of a hill, and the engine starts crapping out, and they say, you know, we're going to pick up so much speed going down here, we're just going to coast up the other side, it's going to be great, what can go wrong? Sure, we have a 5,000-pound trailer behind us, but what could go wrong there? So they get to about warp 7 at the bottom of that hill, and the sides peel off like tuna cans, and the top pops open, and all of the stuff up in Mom's attic goes flying into the back. And they're all in the back. Ah! So they had to finish off their tow to California with duct tape and load-bearing lemon stickers holding their RV together. No, it's totally sweet. That's so good.
Judge's choice went to 8-Bit Racing and their Subaru RX. We've seen this car before. It's a great car. It's this 80s techno-designed Subaru that runs terribly and is slow even when it does. But we love it. And they brought it, and it went roughly how far before exploding into a giant cloud of smoke.
It was corner 2. First lap, second turn.
Yeah. So I guess they must have stuck around because you must be present to win your award. And the judges thought, well, God, for that kind of dedication in your terrible car that blew up days ago, judge's choice.
Org choice, Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dream Car. I just thought this was the best box flare BMW replica of all time. Looked fabulous. Had to give it to him.
And that just brings us to the index of Effluency, which went to Grumpy Cat Racing and the 1950 Dodge pickup truck. Now, I only know bits and pieces of this horrible tale.
It is as bad as you think.
But it was some kid who had this truck, thought it was a good idea to race it, got his team together, and then his team flaked out, truck wasn't ready or running, a day before the race. Fellow LeMons racer, Bob Harnsberger, he does the Speed Holes AMC Marlin at the Denver High Plains race. He says, I feel bad for this kid, I'm going to go help him out. So in 2 days, the two of those guys built the motor, put the cage in, got it all prepped, and it showed up, and what do you know, the thing ran for the whole dang weekend.
Like a train.
And it just slowly
Yeah.
moved its way around the track, and that was a pretty fantastic effort. IOE.
Moral of the story, if you have a flathead-powered 1950 Mopar pickup truck, you could finish halfway up the standings just by motoring around.
Oh, yeah.
Moral of the story. Here's LeMons in a nutshell.